Tuesday. And so preview there. YouTube is still thinking. Rumble is going. Twitch is going, I think. Looks like everything is starting to boot on up. On live chat windows. That's online. That's online. Looks like everything's online. Can I check my other computer? And looks like that's all good to go. I noticed when I was browsing for replays, I found two very big ones I want to cast first. So we'll do those first. This shall be the first one. I'm not sure how good this replay is. I didn't really peruse it. I know Montemon is a pretty good guy, at least when it comes to rankings, both by web and on Tiny Wars. So I think this resetted version, he's still like at default rank. And this game had an unusually high number of turn actions for a number of turns, so it makes me wonder something a little bit buggy, maybe it's a little bit of a standstill, so I'm not so sure. But either way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Not by Web, Days of Ruin, Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the south side as the blue Penny, we got Montemon. Spawn on the north side as the red Isabella, we have a random guy. Or girl. Isabella, this is the Nerf Isabella variant. Standard boarding cost to radius 30, 60, 60. All units get additional plus 20, plus 10. And of course, you get plus 2 movement range and plus 1 indirect maximum range. For the Penny, she is buffed from the cartridge counterpart by a slight amount. Standard boarding cost 3 radius 30, 60, 60. All units are unaffected by weather, regardless if it's in CO zone or not. All units get additional 10 plus 10% offense plus 10% defense. And of course, you get 3 turns of random weather, which can be quite brutal, depending on what weather and situations it is. So, let's go ahead and get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, technically 2 seaports. Huh. Was there always a shore tile there? This map seems to have gone through some iterations since the reset. I see a little bit of a beach here. I wonder if that's a misclick. I don't see why it would be blocked off there, unless it's just trying to prevent people from going for double seaport to get a blue water ship over here. I just don't remember that little bit of a sandbar there. I think sandbar is probably a good term for it for the beach. Just infantry so far. Isabella has 4,000 monies, so looks like there's going to be another pair of infantry. Could be bike infantry. It is infantry and bike, which is different than bike and infantry, I think. Bike infantry and commits a base skip, you monster. Triple infantry there. Recon double infantry. Maybe Penny's going to seal inside that recon. I'm not sure. Oh, this map. I see some other iterations of the map now. Before the reset, there used to be a third plasma tile here, or should I say super plasma. It used to be a line of 3, now it's just a line of 2. Additionally, there was a missile silo platform here. There used to be a trio of cities, so that's also changed as well. Oh yeah, other things now I'm starting to realize, well, there used to be some temporary seaports, and now there's some missile silo platforms here as well. So there's a bit more iterations more I look at it. Another platform here. I know they're called empty silos, but I've been starting to call empty missile silos just platforms. Also, I think that's a good name for it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that just feels like a good name for it. Got a tank and double infantry. But yeah, the more I look at it, I see small iterations. Maybe there's more roads here? I can't remember exactly. Tank, infantry, and mech. My apologies, I'm gonna open up my drink. We got a battle copter, still 5,000 monies, yep, and 3 infantry. That may be a seal battle copter, or maybe the tank, delete the gunboat, put the tank on the HQ, and then seal it. Both players capturing up the comm tower this turn. Does spot that infantry in there, interrupts the capture. Does not finish off there, seals tank. Artillery, infantry, and infantry. Sorry, flip a city. Oh, deletes gunboat. Is now be sunk to the bottom of the HQ. Infantry, infantry, and anti-air. Penny will need to go for a anti-air relatively soon as well. Generally a good idea. In Advanced Wars by Web, you want to go for anti-air no later than turn 10. It is currently turn 9, but with our cast division, we know an anti-air this turn would be good. Of course, we have caster vision. Tank, and anti-air. Very nice. CO's tank. Hit spike for a nice even 8 energy. Very even. After all, 8 is an even number, not an odd number. There is a mech here, of course, out of range any hiding spot. He may use the mech to interrupt the capture of that property, but he knows this tank is nearby, so he knows he'll be picked off if he does do that. Both players obtain their comm tower. Does take the shot there with a mech. Pair of tanks there, very good. Out of vision range at the moment, so that mech will be good bait. Another anti-air infantry, mech, and battlecopter. This battlecopter may get a shot on, yep, on the recon. Now he knows definitely send a recon over this direction because the other one went up north. Does get trapped there. Finds CO tank. It'd probably be a good idea for Penny to charge forward and hit that tank. With our cast vision, we know it's a relatively safe engagement. Though there's a lot of units nearby that can still just try to machine gun it. But Penny charges forward and hits that tank. Reserve tanks will be available the next turn. Pike takes a shot. Infantry takes a shot. Get a nice even 13 energy so far. Does not take a shot there. With our caster vision, we know it was relatively good engagement, but the problem is, opponent doesn't have a caster vision and only saw the tank. And that's problem, only saw it. Nothing else really other than a couple infantry units here and there. Battlecopter. Oh, that's a war tank. Mech and infantry. Looks like Penny's ready for some war. Tank. Does take out the infantry in there, trying to flip the property. Artillery's out of range. Unless the tank push forwards, then it won't be out of range. Battlecopter tank, anti-air and infantry. Does take a shot there with not the CO tank. Get some good shots there, up to 30 energy, 37 energy. Artillery on top of the city, very nice. Ready to shell his opponent. Mech in reserve, anti-air and infantry on the flank. Battlecopter push way forward. War tank has been landed. Gunboat, artillery, infantry, battlecopter. So it goes for gunboat. Paul just wants another unit to help push infantry forward. Penny's at 24 energy. She'll not be able to pull out superpower this turn. And we know that was a bad spot for that tank because it's in range of the artillery. Penny has enough targets in front of her to pop her CO power, and I think it's a CO power you want to pop immediately. It just causes so many issues. Right now, I generally believe Sandstorm is the best of the weather for Penny, but snow, this is a large map, so snow would be detrimental. And rain would make it a bit of an issue, but there's enough infantry on the front line to help spot, so don't think Flare, Battlecopter, infantry tank. Flare's a little bit late. Go for the superpower, it'll help off the other units. Needs 3 more energy, has superpower. And does go for rain. I think that's the worst weather, or worst for Penny at the moment. I think the best one that Isabella could get this turn. Yeah, let's get some shots here. Penny, of course, at least has plus 10% or plus 50%, plus 10% global as well this turn as well. Isabella will need a flare when these units back here. Tank, battlecopter, flare could seal the 7 health bike, or now 9 health. Does actually seal 9 health bike. Has not spotted the war tank, and the fact that it's raining probably won't be spotting the war tank. Spots the artillery. So it looks like she'll be shelled once again this turn. Plus leave the tank on top of HQ, which is... the bike's gonna go down very likely. Bum, bum, bum. Sorry. I think the tube music does have a great contrast in this match. This music does still fit very well to be out in the rain with, even though rain's like one of the worst weathers to fight in. It just makes everything miserable. Does strike the tank there, hits infantry, takes up battlecopter. Penny's gonna get some good power charges turn. War tank gets his first kill. Finish off the bike there, so CO tank. Good amount of infantry over here, but nothing else. So battlecopter, anti-air, we'll just start picking off these units one at a time. If Penny were to pull back her command tank over here, there's going to be a lot of power charge for her. And serve 162,000 versus 130, so she has full turn income. CO's tank. Finish off anti-air. Up to 22 energy at the moment. Takes out mech. It's infantry. Infantry, battlecopter, tank, and tank. Right now, 29,000 income for Isabella. Now 28 versus 27. One property on the map. One city still despicably neutral, waving the French flag. Oh, does delete the gunboat. It has been sunk to the bottom of the HQ. Anti-air. Overall, Penny does just generally falls on back. This should be the last turn of rain that Isabel has to deal with. Fires a flare. Isabel's now at 30 energy. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and infantry. Hits the infantry unit there. Nothing really. That's also this battlecopter can get shot down by that anti-air now. And he's at 39 energy. Anti-air, tank, recon, and battlecopter. Isabella's turn, no more range, so she has now full vision. Takes out the battlecopter immediately. Spots nothing top of that city. Battleship. We do have now a battleship by Isabella. I can see aircraft carriers to a certain extent, but I don't think battleships provide enough coverage. Hits the artillery there, has enough for another superpower, but U-turn has been utilized and it's on 28 fuel. T-copter, tank, artillery, and anti-air. Battleship strikes the war tank, hits the war tank, hits the war tank. Battlecopter hits battlecopter, gets some good hits there. Currently at 35 energy out of 60 for the superpower, so it's a little way to go. Units heading down south. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and infantry. The war tank's at 1 health, of course. Pop Sandstorm. It does take out the duster there, and now Isabella's going to be dealing with a lot of negative firepower penalties. minus 20 or minus 30% across the board, which is going to cause a lot of issues. Bomber anti-air infantry mech. So Penny is now deployed a bomber. Battleship can push forward and get a shot in. Duster gets shot out of the air. Battleship strikes the anti-air, takes out multiple anti-air pieces, leaving battlecraft a bit more free reign. Of course, extra firepower bonuses or negative penalties, and not to mention the extra defense global. It's going to be a little bit more difficult this turn than other turns, but overall looks like Isabel is doing well enough. Duster, tank, and infantry. Up north, nothing much to stop these forces. The Duster itself will be quite decent against all these forces, and bond the anti-air course. Some tanks need to be brought over here, and maybe some things to do with the mechs. Penny's going to get some good power charge this turn. Already have 44 energy. Looks like the storm is just going to be continuing. 8 energy remaining. There's a highly good chance that she will get a superpower. A chain of superpowers going to say the least. And a rocket, tank, and flare. From Bolt's Choice. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but either way, Isabella got her superpower. Gave him nice firepower benefits global. To help counter out the sandstorm. Not to mention +2 movement range and +1 indirect range, which may have been used for the battleship. Wasn't paying close attention to it. Able to go for deep strike. Maybe able to take out the CO tank. Yeah, the blitz. Nope, did not engage the tank there. Takes the anti-air. Decides not to take out the command tank there, likely because the fact that the sandstorm is going to continue a couple more turns. But the tank will escape and will continue the storm. Tank's probably going to move down here next turn. Rocket, infantry, and battlecopter. Funny, I read the comment wrong there. Sorry, I think I missed something. Lander does drop off the rocket and the mech. Penny has, of course, another superpower available. There's going to be one more turn of sandstorm. Mech, battlecopter, tank, and artillery. Get some good hits there. Which also scout out the city there with that drive-by. Penny's already up to 22 energy. Though next turn the bomber will be able to connect, but we've got a large number of anti-airs here. A lot of AA, no AAA. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry. More sand. I hate sand. It just gets everywhere. I know it's a meme, but nobody's told me how that meme is wrong. Nice little artillery line here. Got the rock on the city. 2 artillery here. Flare is actually down to 1 ammo. Missile, mech, flare, and battlecopter. Oh yeah, Darude Sandstorm. Do you know how to play Darude Sandstorm? When did Darude Sandstorm come out? Was that the 90s or was it late 2000s? I gotta look that up. Luckily I can let this play for a little bit. It's just a bit of repositioning. Darude Sandstorm came out... 1999. So, yes. Bomber repositioning. We do have the missile here. The missile knows where it's at or knows where it's not. There's a lot of indirects up here. Gonna perhaps just play a little bit slowly. Maybe we'll try to zone out the HQ, start trying to go for an HQ capture. Anti-air gets hit twice. It's that infantry unit there, interrupts the capture and loses itself. Got one dust here. Battleship, of course, a little bit idle. Yeah, I still sort of believe that the anti-aircraft carrier would be a little bit better because I'll also help resupply all these battlecopters. Forward seaplanes always very nice, all things that sort. Battlecopter, anti-air, flare, and infantry. Right now, the income is even 20,000 for both players. Isabel does have a very good core tanks here, which combos quite well for a superpower. And Penny still has a healthy number of indirects. The amount of tanks afield, maybe more snow would be very nice. Sandstorm will be subsiding soon, and Penny only has 10 energy right now. Infantry, rocket, tank. It's infantry unit there. Isabel's getting a lot of free power charges. True, definitely not a lot. The Sandstorm I generally rate as the high strongest because you just basically have 3 turns of superpower because your opponent just has a lot less firepower. But snow wouldn't be half bad right now. Definitely slow down its opponent's mobility. But with 10 energy, it's not going to come popping anytime soon unless Isabel launches a full-scale assault, which is a bit more likely. The missile strike the duster, rock and artillery strike can strike the anti-air. And with the superheated plasma here, There scores a couple good permanent blockers there. Tank, battlecopter, infantry in it here. Takes out the command tank there, very nice. Denying the superpower, which is very critical right now. Couple good hits on the infantry. Penny's at 43 energy. Anti-air, bike, tank, and battlecopter. Battlecopter goes down, spots a bit of everything. Hits the tank there. It's the tank twice. Hits the artillery. Hits the tank. Penny can deploy out her superpower. None of the units are within range of her within the CO zone, so Penny can deploy out her superpower and get that going. Battlecopter in range of the missile. And so that battlecopter is going to get exploded. Does CO this infantry unit there, currently at 15 energy. Now Isabel's at 29,000 or 27,000. Small income advantage. So what would you think the next set of weather would be? I'm guessing snow. Anti-air, battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Ah, guessed correctly. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Snow's been summoned. We reduce all movement speed of opponent's units by 1 for 3 turns, which is going to be painfully slow. So now Penny's able to move around a bit more at ease and perhaps pick off some of these tanks. In comparison, this anti-air here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just barely ranges the battlecopter. Granted, there's some more battlecopters down here I could grab. Oh, boo. That was horrible. Does get some battlecopters. Actually takes out all 3 battlecopters. Very nice. Right now, 25 energy. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and tank. Hits the tank over here. Penny has plenty of targets for getting more power charge, to say the least. Though does pull back most of the wounded units there. Bomber needs a bit of refuel. 23 fuels remaining. And just overall pulls back. Does not like the position that she's in. The snow by a bit of time. General Winter sits on in. Though I only thought he had went up to Major. It was Lieutenant Winter, then Captain Winter. I think he only gone up to Major, right? Though I don't know if a Band of Brothers reference is exactly as a great idea at this moment. Does takes out some flares. One thing I would say that he's sort of improved is I think the snow sprites of the forest are a little bit, need some work on it. To me, that looks like a pile of ice rather than a pile of trees or snow tops. Maybe the trees just need to retain a bit more of the green. Does the battlecopter there, hits the tank. Now we got the counterattack going, spots a whole lot of stuff. Resupplies the T-copter and the bomber. Rocket, tank, infantry, and another gunboat. Or is that the same gunboat? Must be going crazy. Isabel's CO infantry is still up and going, gains a good power charge. This is what, the last turn for winter, right? Does have the flare, hits the anti-air twice. Rocket slowly advances way forward. Isabel making pushing ever so forward. Though there's a possible another CO power next turn by Penny. Enough targets in front of her. And any new system of weather would be very nice. Snow, of course, reduce the reinforcements. Rain just make them a bit more blind. And of course, Sandstorm just basically neuters all the damage. Artillery, tank, and battlecopter. Does glue out his HQ. 50 energy right now. We got 55, and that's 60. More snow. Takes the artillery there. Takes the infantry unit there. Bomber nukes the rocket. We may go down to the triple anti-airs in range. Gunboat's chilling. Okay, that's horrible. Before an infantry or mech greets it. And wishes happy holidays. Or Merry Christmas. It's happy holidays! It's summer, yes! You're fighting against Penny, or fighting under Penny. Does it got a number of units there? Does get some good pings across the board. And Isabel does have her superpower available. And Flare gets some ammo. If I remember correctly as well, the Flare does have increased range with the superpowered. And the CO infantry unit is located on top of 4, so it has some hiding. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and bike. And we get some good power charge going this turn. War tank does strike our tank there. Rocket hits our anti-air. Clears out some of those units there. Maximum Veteran or rocket on top of the city. Though a bit exposed. Missile anti-air tank waits the gunboat, you monster. What was superpower? Superpower popped. Spots the tank there, or rocket, takes it out, spots the other rocket, takes the infantry unit there, will strike the other rocket, hits the artillery in the auxiliary. They got no points of damage, just gave the recon some veterancy, takes out the rocket there, battlecopter hits the infantry unit there, missile will be able to take out with that battlecopter. 30 turrets of Christmas. My true love gave to me. I don't know what else will be day 30. It goes on only the day of day 25, right? It is actually days as well, the song. On the 5th day of Christmas. There's gotta be some sort of Advanced Wars version of that. Which does only go up to 12. I think it'll actually only go up to 12, doesn't it? Not 25. Does pick up some of these units there, does not base lock himself to this missile. And this one has time to escape, but the Northern Flank is sort of crushed by for blue. Does take up the flare. Missile does pull off the base. Resupplies. It does interrupt the HQ capture. Tank, anti-air, tank. Insert 195 is 121, so Penny's about a full turn behind. Isabel does also have 30,000 income versus 26. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank and tank. And let the rain comes on in. Yep. It got set out to sea. Artillery does strike that tank. War tank is down to 2 ammo. Drops off a tank and anti-air there. And oh, ask for a draw. We do have now a battleship here. Does hit the artillery a couple times. Knocks it out. Doesn't spot anything else there somehow. Oh, it's the rain. That lander actually got a stealth insertion there. This bomber is now pushed away forward, or at least leftwards. Battlecopter, artillery, flare, and tank. And declines the draw. Turn 32. Battleship does strike tank. Tank hits tank. Resupplies the war tank, who's now maximum veterancy as well. With a little bit of firepower benefits thanks to the CO tank. Bike there, occupying city would just be a bit of a speed bump overall, honestly. Anti-air, tank and tank. Does spot a whole bit of everything there. Does get the bike there, hits the T-copter. Battlecopter strikes the command tank, and the tank goes down. Maybe, oh, there's a missile in range on top of the seaport, which can probably take out that battlecopter, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, it's actually 7 miles range away rather than 6. Though there's plenty of anti-airs nearby to shoot it down. No units over here to CO, so probably going to CO the tank or anti-air. Battlecopter, tank, anti-air, and infantry. CO's the tank, gets inside the lander. Takes out the regular tank there. Hits the AT as well. Getting nice early 20 energy. Takes the veteran tank. Getting a lot of good picks there. 4 off tank. Yep, finish off the 2 off tank. Going for a temporary airport. Mech, anti-air, tank. Takes out the infantry unit there. Hits the rocket. Hits the rocket again, takes it out. The veteran efficiency 2 rockets below it though. Get some good hits. Missiles gonna be ranged with the battle copter. I mentioned this anti-air. Isabel has enough of those 2 power, but of course she has utilized her turn. By this point, Penny may constantly have a tank parked at HQ. Momentum is everything. In this case, she does not. Nor does Penny. That rocket's in range of the CO unit, right? Yes, it is, and Envision, so that CO unit could receive a pretty good strike there. Yeah, very good strike. Definitely a good idea. Takes out one of the battle copters. I think... Oh, I really do think that Penny should take out this unit first if possible. Rocket will strike it. Yep, yeah, at least got it pretty soon. The extra defense does matter. Penny's at 52 energy. Still 52. It has full 60 energy. Of course, her turn has been expended. Gets a great turn there. And if the bomber goes forward, hit that CO tank, it will be in range of a missile. No, it will not. Never mind. Missile, mech, and tank. 2 off artillery. Scratch the war tank, doing 5% damage. It scratches paint job. Hits the CO tank twice, so knocks it out. One missiles or 2. I think both missiles are maybe in range. A temporary airport did get it completed, so now there's a stealth spot there for aircraft, not to mention for other ground units. At least for whoever owns it, in this case Blue. Bomber, infantry, tank, and infantry. CO's another tank, loads it on up, missile gets loaded. Takes out the anti-air, takes out the battle copter, takes out the battle copter, hits the tank, hits the tank, hits the tank again, hits the anti-air, finish off the anti-air. This left flank's been pretty quiet. Of course, when in defense, right now it's 32,000 income versus 24,000, so Isabel has a clear advantage in income. But when it comes to field deployment, Penny's now caught on up, so now they're day-to-day difference. But of course, now it's Isabel's turn. And this anti-air is pretty far forward, though, a little bit exposed. This bomber could advance into the missile's range. Oh, you got a tank on top of HQ now, so that's going to be sealed perhaps next turn. Or could seal the bomber in the corner. But we see if Starhawk using a bomber every turn to have fun. Battlecopter, tank, and artillery. Nice, easy 15 energy there. Paints up 40 energy right now. Mech ready to be loaded with a T-copter. Battleship does return to harbor. Tank, battlecopter, flare. Does CO the tank there, takes out the flare. Bomber nukes the veteran war tank. The veteran war tank gets taken out. It's CO unit, and CO unit will go down. But the missile is in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the bomber is going to be shot down by the missile. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and bike. CO's the tank. Loads the tank and a missile forward. Bomber gets shot down. So the anti-air also hits the anti-air, takes it out also. Battlecopter, flare, bike, and infantry. Hits the tank there. Bomber strikes the regular tank. Battlecopter hits regular tank. Hits the anti-air. Hits the gunboat. So the gunboat almost got destroyed. It got left with 4% health. Trying to capture the column tower. Maybe we'll get it this time around. Right flank is still pretty empty by both players. Red just has some sporadic infantry, which could be a bit more aggressive, but right now it's probably best not to draw attention over for Red, because he has even less than Blue in this flank. Bike, anti-air, tank, and battlecopter. Does take out a couple. Ooh, takes out the other bomber with a missile as well. So 2 bombers got shot down. Penny has a superpower available, and more sand. Does interrupt the capture. Hits the artillery. Takes out a tank there. Penny's making a pretty good turn here, and she actually pull ahead this turn as well by a full turn. But her income has not improved. She's still at 24,000 versus 32,000. Down by 8 properties is getting to a significant point. Now here comes Isabella's superpower. +2 range, not to mention the global firepower bonuses will help even out the sandstorm, though she still has to contend with 10% extra defense this turn as well. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and tank. Hits the tank. Does make some good hits there. Missile is actually getting low on ammo. It's also maxed out veterancy. 2 ammo remaining. Of course, my mouse is doing double clicking issues. I really need to get a new mouse. This thing is starting to just outright fail. Problem is, I just don't think about it. Anti-air, tank, and tank. It's from 205,000 for 170. Still has a full turn ahead, but Isabella has now another property, so 10,000 income advantage. But Penny's doing very well this game. I think the sniping 2 bombers really does help out. Battlecopter, tank, and anti-air. Just a bit of a rotation here, so May starting seeing a bit of stall game. This is turn 40. Tank, mech, and battlecopter with flare. Only one tank, sorry. I don't know why, it always seems like when there's at least 40 turns of explosive action, the game becomes a stall fest. Which, I don't know why, I always feel like it's around turn 40, both players like agreed to stall out the game. But then again, a lot of times, a lot of games end in stalls either way. Though Isabella does have an excellent income advantage. So she can recover in no time. Battlecopter, double, triple tank. Does an infantry unit there. Penny's also at 59 energy. So having her summon more weather's not going to be too big an issue. True, multicolored chessboard. But no units can move diagonal. Or jump over units. Or en passant. I suppose we could do a bit of castling, like with the base and the airport up there. Battlecopter, artillery, rocket, and infantry. Will we see more weather this turn? Takes out the anti-air, trying to go for a bit of scouting. At least taking engagements in the CO zone. There are some sandstorms. Sandstorm probably be very nice when you're attacking, because of course reduce your opponent's capability for a counterattack. So sandstorm may be the best weather she could summon right now. Mr. Bear is being quite on point, honestly. Income, Isabel still has a massive income advantage. Isabella may be able to pull out a superpower next turn. She has 31 energy. Getting an extra 29 at this point is not too big an issue. After all, I see 2 anti-airs in range of 2 battlecopters, and not to mention battlecopters in range of battlecopters. Yeah, chance for a superpower by Isabella is very likely. Oh, can't one-shot battlecopters with the sandstorm. Pop superpower. The extra 1 range was useful for the battleship. Yeah, the extra defense from superpower. Not to mention the sandstorm just causing so many issues for Isabella. Does strike the missile. It's a tank on the flank. It's the artillery in the back. It's tank. It's tank. Max and Veteran Sea rockets on top of the city, so it's not even spotted yet. But Isabel's blitzing her way forward. Battlecopter, tank, A-tier, and tank. Does take out one of the battlecopters, strikes the tank. Battleship strikes the tank. Attacks the 1 health tank. Takes a battlecopter there, hits the mech. She is almost enough for a superpower. Now she has enough for another superpower, so the weather shall continue. Takes another battlecopter. Isabel's taking quite a bit of hits so far. Isabel right now has 100, or Penny has 195. Her day-to-day income effectively become 120 versus 187. So it looks like Isabel's about a full turn behind, but still has a 10,000 income lead. Oh, I just don't know. It's like somehow Penny is just doing great, being very cost-effective due to the income disparity. But is it enough? Can't even one-shot a battlecopter thanks to sand. And again, those anti-air units are based off of Sergeant York, which was considered highly unreliable historically. Battlecopter, tank, and tank. Let's take out the tank there. Takes out infantry, takes out the battlecopter. Keeping the tank in reserve, just trying to keep the CO power within range of her engagement. Indirects falling back across the beach. Battleship takes time for a bit of a resupply. Anti-air tank ends her for 205,000 versus 181, so 1 turn behind, which is not too terribly bad. Does find a shot there with a battleship. Isabel's at 60 energy as well, so she has a superpower available. Battlecopter, tank, and the weather has ended. What weather this time? I'm guessing. Nope, I was going to guess rain. Sandstorm once again. A battleship and a tank. Tank, anti-air tank, and Penny's asking for another draw. Does spot the 2 missile, picks off a bike. Of course, the CO unit did get picked off there because CO the tank on top of the HQ. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and flare. Another decline. Overall self repositioning. Resupplies there. Flares down to 1 ammo, so there's still 1 more shot, plus there's an APC nearby. Mech, tank, and battlecopter. Another quest for Resign. And ends with a draw. Ugh. I want to say the game could continue. When it comes to ending funds on the field, they're pretty even right now. Of course, Isabella has a massive income advantage. Overall, Isabella has the positional lead, but Penny is such a brutal seal to go against. It's a shame it has to end in a draw, because this game was very good, but there's no clear winner. Ugh. Either way, this is Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started on the next replay, I do need the restroom. Please give me a moment. My apologies, I am back. There's one. The next replay may actually be my last replay for tonight, maybe because it's another very long replay, and I want to cast it. Let's see, here it is. Oh yeah, this map is quite relatively large. Is this the right one? I just one of the names were different. Well, let's do it. Not sure if this is going to be a great replay or not. Don't recognize the names. Could have sworn when I last time looked it up, the names are different. Nope. Either way, let's get started. I guess I have to rate how the game goes. So like, if it feels too noobish, I'll just stop it immediately. Either way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars Days Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the north side as the blue Cyrus, we got Chopstick. Spawn on the south side as the teal Isabella, we got Rocky 190. When it comes to Isabella, she is a nerf from the cartridge counterpart. Standard board and cost, 2 radius, 36 to 60. Always get plus 20 offense, plus 10% defense. And of course, for her superpower, get additional 2 movement range and 1 max indirect range. When it comes to Cyrus, he is of course a custom CO in Tiny Wars. Standard board and cost, 3 radius, 36 to 60. Always conditional plus 15, plus 15. And for superpower, reverts the CO back, unloads the CO, allows you to reload the CO into any unit, unweighted unit at no cost, and you of course get a cheap or weak missile silo for any location of your choosing. So let's get started. Oh, it's left and right, not necessarily top and bottom. You can see this is a very long, skinny map. There's a base up here. Both players do start with a lander and a temporary seaport. So able to get some resupplies there if needed. Also great if you can summon out battleships from there. There's no graveyard on the map. I'm just saying you can. And it looks like there's quite a bit of difference in capture order now. Go straight for this base here. Primarily meant for infantry, as well as keeping that for now, trying to go towards the center of the map at the moment. Does load up the lander now. Goes for a double bike this turn. Does capture the airport up here for both sides now. There's also some temporary reports in the center of the map, which is always very nice to see. As tall and large as the map seems, there actually may not be too many properties on this map. The more I look at it, I think both of us probably be around 20,000 income once they all get captured, which is not too high. But for a map that's effectively a 2-base map, yeah, that may be a little bit high. Battlecopter, double infantry. And there's a meteorite here attached to plasma. If I remember correctly, the plasma will disappear if the meteorite gets destroyed, right? We have a CO tank up north now. And does CO the battlecopter in return. Tank up north. And Cyrus should have probably gone for anti-air last turn here, seeing the battlecopter there. The battlecopter could go either direction where it's currently at. It's not committed to any flank at the moment. And hitting up north may be best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In range of that infantry unit there. It could have gone like that. Anti-air over here, but the battlecopter goes right there. Gets nice early 16 energy. And does plug the gap there, so the tank cannot range the other tank. And it says actually it can, never mind. Got another tank here. Does strike the meteorite, and if I remember correctly, any suit of plasma attached to the meteorite will disappear, so he really should not take pot shots against that meteorite since it's next to his own HQ. Unless he wants to try to overrun over here. Battlecopter, bike, infantry, and infantry course back on the island. Does take a couple good shots there. Cyrus up to a nice 44 energy at the moment. No anti-air down here to intercept the battlecopter though. Does go for a battlecopter and tank over here. Hits the anti-air right there. This infantry unit there. Command copter hits command tank. As well as at 33 energy. Cyrus could start eyeing for a unit to be re-CO'd into to tack up. This gets a strike in the CO battlecopter. These good strikes here up to 54 energy right now. Battlecopter, anti-air, and parent infantry. Takes out the anti-air, takes out the tank, takes out the infantry. Gets some good hits down south. As well as at 20,000 income versus 19,000. Anti-air. This infantry unit there, Isabel now has her superpower available. This anti-air won't be able to range that battlecopter, but this one will be able to range this battlecopter here. Could maybe not pull it out, does pull out the superpower now. Goes straight for the properties back there, just trying to be annoying like that. Medium tank has been deployed down south as well. It's the anti-air round back. Medium tank, tank back on the island. CO power is right there. And re-COs in this medium tank. Does pull back the battlecopter onto the temporary airport. Very nice. Another tank, another medium tank. Right now, both players are sitting at 20,000 income, but there's a good number of properties still despicably neutral. Got the city here, this radar station here. And there should still be one more property that's still despicably neutral in that case. Radar stations do provide income, unless that got changed when the server got rebooted. Yep, 1,000 income. So there's still a fourth property somewhere that's still neutral, but I'm actually having trouble finding it at the moment. Yep, I'm not sure what property is also neutral. Isabel does capture that one. We have an anti-tank down south now. Oh, this city here has not been captured. That's an oversight by Teal. That is free monies. How many times an infantry unit has been deployed back there? It could easily be picked up and dropped off there. That has to be a big oversight by Teal. Yep. Can't push over the medium tank with the anti-tank nearby. Another medium tank. Teal's been pulling out a good number of medium tanks. Blue only has the 2 at the moment. Artillery trying not zoning out these tanks just yet, just out of range. Once again, strikes that meteorite. Does take off the medium tank there. Hits the medium tank with a medium tank, or the regular tank with a medium tank. Cyrus is at 41 energy now. Another bike. I'm assuming you're talking about the neutral city. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Let's just keep an eye on the Salander next turn. Does get a good hit there. Hits the anti-tank twice. Hits the regular tank. Nope. Missed it again. I mean, that's a perfect time to drop off an infantry unit there. And sure, maybe you can't pick up an infantry unit later or immediately due to how the pace and turns are. If you just lose, let's just say you just permanently lose an infantry unit there onto that city for the rest of the game, costs 1,500 funds. Having that city captured for 2 turns will immediately pay for it. And then all the extra on top will be profit. Does take some good shots up there. Medium tank. Battlecopter and bike. Does drone capture there. Does the medium tank twice. It's the battlecopter. Perhaps. Sometimes you might hear the word shorts. I think the jokes, comments about the YouTube shorts. I prefer YouTube pants. Let's get some good hits up around. Isabel does have 22,000 income. Again. CO is a battlecopter. She has an income advantage. It could be even slightly higher. This property is still also neutral. Takes another shot against the meteorite. The poor meteorite, down to 54 health. Mech infantry. Another medium tank. Oops. Immediately pulls out the infantry unit there. It's the E tier. CO battle company hits tank. It's the infantry unit in the center. Got a max out veteran medium tank here, but down to 1 ammo, which could be exploited. Though this tank's now in range of artillery. And members, well, runes only provide 1's defense north. They are identical to planes, barring the fact they can also hide units in fog of war. It did not get very well hidden there. Howdy, doing. How about you? I'm doing. I can't speak. Doing good. How about you? Does it the medium tank there? Mech. Another rig to rig the game. Tank there. Oh, it does show the meteorite. So now, which is also coverage for the HQ, but he has a lot more units there that will allow him to flood forward. And guess maybe that was his plan. I just feel like, oh, we could probably set up some artillery around the HQ. But that is the strong side. Trying to capture, flip that city there, hitting this one down south. And taking time to shoot this meteorite as well, getting grand total of 11 damage. Poor meteorite. And finally deploys infantry on top of that city. Still mech inside the lander. This mech can immediately hop inside the rig. Battlecopter strikes battlecopter, takes shot against the battlecopter, but base locks himself. Don't know that was a good idea. Medium tank. And Cyrus's artillery getting hit a couple times. Anti-air. Hits the infantry unit there. This battlecopter, I think blue needs to get a medium or no, maybe a war tank down here? A medium or war tank would be probably nice. Problem is the full health battlecopter. This area just seems overrun. A tank could be nice, but there's just way too much there still. But he may just need to go for a war tank there. He has enough for superpower, so he can throw a missile silo down here. Maybe could have fired it off and then sealed this medium tank. Goes from medium tank. Does hit the medium tank twice. Anti-tank. Isabel also has her superpower available. So this map may turn top versus bottom relatively soon. Fires at the missile there. Does, of course, get a bit of health restoration. Good shots there. Does reseal inside this medium tank. 21,000 versus 23,000. This property has finally been captured. Yep, it is no longer, that neutral city is no longer captured and held by the French. Raising the very patriotic white flag. Captures up those cities. His tank. Takes up the ET battlecopter while at it. Bomber, mech, and the tank I think just stayed there, didn't it? Right now, 106 or 195 day-to-day funds. Looks like Cyrus has a slight advantage, but nothing too crazy at the moment. Oh, tank is in range of the anti-tank, but also is the 4 health artillery. It's probably best to strike the regular tank there if you're going to strike any of those units. Strike the medium tank of the battlecopter. I don't think Isabella should be pushing forward with the 6 health tank there. I think that's too far forward. It can be struck by one of these healthier medium tanks. Bombers advancing up north. Tank battlecopter. And it looks like the anti-tank does shield the artillery. Mech should not finish capturing up that property. May want to get a shot onto the anti-tank itself. It's one of the perfect units to counter the anti-tank. Yep, got a good shot there. Takes it out and can occupy it with one of these units. Tank, battlecopter, mech, and of course that is occupied. Opening up another Juke up nearby. Finish off my last one. Battlecopter and base skip down south and medium tank. Decides to do a bit, join there, getting himself 30,000 monies. Duster, anti-air, going for a relatively cheap counter with the Duster to the bomber. And honestly, just have to avoid the anti-air and be perfectly good counter to not only the bomber, but also to all the battlecopters. Hits the tank there. Joins the battlecopters together. Parks a 1 health battlecopter on top of the temporary airport. Or not so temporary airport. And we got a full fighter tank, so going for a bit of air supremacy. These are some tanks there. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Battlecopter takes out battlecopter. Cyrus is now at 30 NG, deploying a forward temporary airport, allegedly. Bomber strikes the mech, clears it out, and artillery is now out of range of the base, so could go for another anti-tank there. I think an anti-tank may be good. Isabella has 19,000. She could go for a war tank. Anti-tank or war tank I think would be best. Goes for a medium tank, and nothing. This city has 5 catch products remaining. Takes out the bomber. So took out what, a tank, but lose the bomber in return and built nothing there. That was not a good placement for the bomber. So right now Teal does have quadruple bases or factories, and just a handful of units being pumped out here is all he needs to start just, or she needs to capture the southern flank. Fighter takes out the battlecopter. Duster is in range of the fighter now. No anti-air support I can see. Though that fighter does have at least a little bit extra defense thanks to the CO tank. Does have the battlecopter there. Medium tank strikes medium tank. Anti-tank does get shelled, and there's a mech ready to clear out the base from the anti-tank. Another war tank, and Duster, or maybe that's the first war tank. Yep, properties over here being captured. Isabel just needs to contest over here just long enough and start capturing all these properties. She'll get a good amount of extra income going. She already has a 4 property advantage. Though she is slightly behind on value in the field. Isabel may lose the space, but a lot of free real estate as I mentioned. Mech is in range of the infantry unit to interrupt the capture. Nope, puts the rig in front of it. Yeah, Isabel may just need to pull out more tanks up north. Start pumping out double tank, at least. Does seal the medium tank there. Fighter hits the battlecopter. Probably gonna focus on the tank here. Cyrus has enough for a superpower, so he can pop the superpower and reload into the war tank. But I think the medium tank here should have been in range, right? That was part of the superpower. It actually reseals into this medium tank rather than war tank. Of course, this has 2 capture progress remaining. Recon battlecopter. Gets shot out there on the duster. Isabel's pretty far behind in value, even though she has a far superior income. But she's making some great gains in the right flank. This base will be captured now. It's a top versus bottom matchup. Medium tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Now I got some reinforcements being sent over here. Battlecopter has no counter over here, so Isabel will need to pull out anti-air or duster to counter. Does go for anti-air. Goes for a full fighter and commits double base skip. Anti-air battlecopter. Takes the duster, getting nice early vacancy. Bomber now pulling the field. And a rig to rig the game. Does get the bike there. Starts at 34 energy. This battlecopter should probably just back away from the anti-air. Though if it moves over here, it'll be struck by the fighter. With a war tank here, the bomber should probably make its way and sortie run onto it. Bike, infantry, another tank. Strikes the war tank with a medium tank, and again with a regular tank. Takes out the battlecopter there, but in range of a healthy anti-air over here, so that was not a good assault. Not to mention there's another anti-air right there as well. So that fighter's going to be shot down by double anti-air at least. The CO tank does go down there. Yep, easy gets picked off, donates a lot of power charge while at it. Cyrus at 58 energy. Isabella's turn. Right now, Isabella has 27 properties versus 21. She has a clear economic advantage, but she has less assets in the field. She's been sort of thrown away like that fighter there. We got a war tank down south. For CO battlecopter is at some health at south. Looks like this anti-air can't range the bomber due to the rough wastelands. Cyrus now has a CO power ready. There's our regular tank out there. Anti-air would be a bit difficult to displace with the bomber. Bomber gets parked in the middle of the mountainside. That's actually a good spot for it. Though he could... I wonder, if that battlecopter was in range, he had enough battlecopters nearby, he could have trapped the bomber with battlecopters. That would be humorous. Hits the CO battlecopter there quite hard. Has not popped his superpower. And his tank here is in range of a war tank at the moment, though it does get struck by a battlecopter. Battlecopter does go down there. And yeah, can't range the medium tank there with that battlecopter in the way. Does hit both those anti-airs. And now there's no anti-air to stop the bomber from, well, bombing away. It's the anti-air. Oh, there's that also the anti-air over here, wasn't there? Duster, infantry. That seems a good spot for a CO power. Hit the medium tank, war tank, and bomber. Medium tank, bike, and infantry. Takes out the war tank. Does hit the bike there. Battlecopter. Mech. Pops superpower there, strikes the units back here. Medium tank over here is just getting pounded. Anti-air should be able to take out the battlecopter. This tank is probably out of range. It is. Anti-air or duster, infantry, and bike with another anti-air way over here. Anti-air or duster will strike at duster. Does take out the battlecopter or the duster. I can't speak right now. Bomber takes out the unit, capturing up the not comm tower, radar station, which does have 3 defense stars. Tank anti-air. Isabel has that 25,000 income versus 19. Does flip the temporary airport. Strikes the war tank there. Duster hits the bomber for 1 point of damage. And does surround the duster, at least from this side. Can still escape over the mountainside. Takes up that tank there. Duster finish off Duster, takes up the capturing squad there. Isabel's at 42 energy. Interrupt some captures. Needs a counter to the medium tank and war tank over here. Just goes for regular tank though. Bomber's low on ammo. Down to 2 ammo. And so it's max out veterancy. Duster does get a shot on that bomber. There is a fresh temporary airport here for it though. Cyrus intern 150,000. Isabel's at 79. She's severely behind at the moment, even with her spare income. Takes out that bike. Takes out that bike. Hits that infantry unit there. Anti-air bomber. Does get some picks there. A lot of these units sort of just get thrown away. Task the AT to take out a bike, but there's nothing else to stop the medium tank from destroying it, or in this case the war tank. The AT over here means nothing when he's just getting overrun by these tanks. Bomber does fall back to temporary airport, strikes the meteorite. Takes the battlecopter there. Isabel now has a superpower available. It's the tank. Isabel's turn. She may pop the superpower. Does pop the superpower that will allow the war tank to strike this war tank. Hits the bike there. Hits the bike there. Anti-air strikes anti-air. Tank strikes artillery. Bomber takes on medium tank. Our tank finishes it off. Waits the 4 health bomber. Strikes the war tank. Another medium tank. Anti-air. Try and flip this radar station here. This war tank has taken pounding down to 7% health to ammo. Duster take on Duster. Takes on medium tank. This Duster's down to 28 fuel. Pulls back the war tank to the HQ. Finish off the AT-air. Missile? Am I crazy? But I don't see a missile. You might be viewing the previous game. Let's look at the anti-air. Anti-air, medium tank and infantry. It's the bomber. Down to 2% health. Does look at the anti-air. Battlecopter infantry and infantry with a medium tank on the flank. Isabel's trying to turn around the game. Does hit the medium tank with artillery range. This radar station could be captured, but he has until 2 turns before it's fully captured. Duster up north infantry. This Duster is going to be running out of fuel soon. Has 6 fuel remaining. It won't be able to reach back to the temporary airport, so this is going to be crashing the ground soon. Anti-air tank and infantry. E-tier will strike the infantry unit there, stops the capture, hits that unit there, pops superpower with the last remaining fuel in its tank. Bomber does strike the artillery, battlecopter strikes the medium tank. Tank hits tank. Isabel needs to start eyeing what unit she wants to CO next turn, since this will crash the ground. Wait, can you re-CO the unit if it gets crashed down at the start of the turn due to the lack of fuel? It actually might not be able to. Battlecopter bike. A-tier, tank, and A-tier. Does take out the A-tier there. Beam tank does strike regular tank there. And Isabella does go for a bike here, bringing A-tier to help provide some A-tier coverage. Bomber does strike the bomber, joins the bombers together, however there's Duster nearby. Anti-air infantry, and another anti-air, of course, on the right side. It's the anti-air there. Takes the battlecopter. Battlecopter takes out the medium tank. 5 health anti-air can get at least a good shot onto the Duster. There's also soon to be another 5 health anti-air here. Takes a shot there. Rig does surround that one. Takes an infantry unit there. Tank, medium tank. Medium tank hits the infantry unit there. Another tank. Hits the anti-air, hits the Duster for a bit of damage. Isabel, of course, has no CO in the field. Cyrus at 47 energy. Takes out the anti-air there, which allows the anti-air to join together rather than get a shot on the Duster. Battlecopter strikes tank. Duster strikes bomber, leaving at 2 health. Hits the anti-air, but can't deploy superpower this turn. You make it picked on off. We got a full health battlecopter and soon to be 8 health veteran tank. Bike, medium tank. Green maybe or teal is starting to overextend over here. Takes out the tank there, no CO power. Takes out battlecopter, bomber heading down south for the winter. Got a tank, medium tank, and infantry. Hits the battlecopter, Duster hits the bike, does CO the bike. A nice early 23 energy onto it. Loads up the mech there and goes for another artillery piece. Bomber falls back to the temporary airport. Of course, it's going to be a bit of time to get that repaired and up, but the max health efficiency is still very nice to keep. Capture some more of the properties. Right now, Isabel and Cyrus both have 22,000 income. Battlecopter, anti-air, and nothing here yet. Regular tank. At the anti-air. You know, it's turn 51, so this game has gone on for quite some time. War tank does strike medium tank. Takes out the anti-air. And bike right now has 31 energy for CO power. CO's the anti-air. Hits the medium tank there. Another tank. Anti-air, tank, and infantry. Takes out that unit there. Tank hits tank. Duster hits the bomber once again. It is still floating in the air, 7% health remaining. We got CO anti-air. Saves the bomber. 5 health war tank. Battlecopter will be striking it. Leaving at 7% health. That'll strike the medium tank twice. It's the regular tank there. Does go for the mech rather than for the artillery. Infantry, 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 and duster. And got another medium tank, artillery, and infantry. Pulls back these units there. Cyrus at 51 energy versus Isabel's 7. It's the mech. Another medium tank. It's the medium, or the war tank there, finishing it off. Oh, pulls back the bomber even further. Guess once the battlecopter getting repaired on the front line. Oh, and blue has resigned there. This Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As I mentioned beforehand, that should have been my last replay tonight. 2 replays, both of them almost an hour long. This Angrade saying, thank you for watching, have a good evening, and get some